So this is just something that I've been mulling over and just thinking about recently. I was listening to a podcast with Morgan Housel, which his books, The Psychology of Money, is so good. See, I wasn't even planning on recording this video because my phone is going off. And we're going to leave that in there because that's part of it for this video. It's just off the top. But I was listening to a podcast that Morgan Housel did with Tim Ferriss. I haven't read his book yet, The Psychology of Money. Everyone talks and speaks very highly of it. And the excerpts that I've read from it just seems really amazing. So that's one of the books that I want to read this year. But there was something he said in the book that really stood out to me, or rather something he said in the podcast that he was doing with Tim Ferriss that really stood out to me. And the thing he said was, a lot of the investors that I idolize, or a lot of the people that I look up to, I don't want to be any of those people, because the reason I look up to them is because they're unique in what they do. And that really stood out to me because usually what you hear is, if you see somebody doing something great, you emulate that thing. You try to do the same things that you see other people doing that are great. You want to be like your heroes. And the other day I put out a tweet where I said, if I find it, I'm going to put it up. I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was something along the lines of, for so long, I've been trying to be so many other people, but now I'm learning to be myself because it's a lot difficult to try and do the things that make those people great, rather than me just being more of myself. But the problem is, who am I? I guess I'm just trying to figure out who I am right now. And that's those two things, there's two ideas that I've been dealing with recently, which is just in trying to be less of what everybody else is and more of who I am. Less of what I think is great and more of who I want to be. More of what I picture to be greatness. More of the lifestyle that I want to be. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that we don't take things from other people. It doesn't mean that we don't take excerpts, or we don't take skill sets, or we don't take little tidbits from other people. We can always learn from other people. We can always glean something new from other people. However, there are ways that we implement those things into our lives that are going to be a little bit different. There are ways that we go about things that's going to be more unique to who we are and a lot less who they are. One of the easiest ways, especially because the channel is usually about money and personal finance, is I don't want to be Warren Buffett. For the longest time, everybody talks about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, you can learn from Warren Buffett the way that he invests. You can learn. But the thing is, I'm not Warren Buffett. And I never want to be Warren Buffett, because one of the things they talked about in the podcast was they told a story of Warren Buffett and the fact that one day he was coming home, walking upstairs, and this is what Warren Buffett did all the time. He'll go to work, he'll come home, he'll go right into his room and start reading about companies all the time. And one day he was on his way up and his son apparently had fallen down the stairs, and Warren Buffett just stepped over his son and kept on walking up the stairs. I don't want to ever be that guy. Investing is not that important. Like, family matters way more to me. There's so many other excerpts like that, and so many other stories where you learn about people and you realize how much it took for them to get to where they are. Sometimes I always think about some of the people that we view as the greatest people on earth. When we look at the Jeff Bezos of the world, the Bill Gates of the world, we look at, what's this guy's name? Elon Musk. You look at all of these people, and a lot of people see them and see like, oh my gosh, look at them. They created these amazing companies. But I sometimes look at them and be like, they sacrificed a lot to get to where they are. And the question is, am I willing to make those sacrifices? If we look at Elon Musk, he's married, like 4 times? I don't want to ever be in that position. I want to love one woman for my whole life. I never want to get divorced. I want to be able to love my family with all that I have. That's just the way that I am. And that's just who I want to be. And so more and more, I'm looking at these people and saying, yo, what they do is great. It's amazing. I can take a few excerpts and see a little bit of what it is that they do, but I don't want to be them. And so even when it comes to my investing strategy, more and more, I'm diving less into, I want to be Warren Buffett style, or Benjamin Graham, or Charlie Munger, or any of these people that I look up to, and they're amazing. They're great investors, but I, more than anything else, want to do Kelechi style investing, which is going to be a lot more boring, sometimes risky, sometimes stupid style of investing, but it's me. It doesn't mean that I won't learn from other people, because it's always good to learn, like I said earlier. However, it's to be less like other people and to be more like me. It's to figure out what it is that I love to look at, what it is that I love to read, what it is that I love to listen to, what it is that I love to watch, rather than trying to be like, you know what, I have to invest like these guys because they made it work for them, or to live life the way they lived life because it worked for them. It's a lot easier for me to walk in my own skin than for me to try and get into somebody else's skin. It's just going to be uncomfortable the whole time. But anyway, that's just something that was in my head, and I just thought I would share it with everybody, is figure out what works for you. I like to say all the time is everything is just generally good advice. Figure out what advice is actually good for you. It's one of my 10 rules of money that I have for myself is everyone has generally good advice, but not all good advice is good for me. So it's figuring out what is the good things that are good for my situation, for my life, for the way that I want things to turn out. But anyway, that's a little bit that I got for y'all. I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire thing. And if you did, hit that subscribe button. If you loved it, share this video with somebody that you love. It's not going to have any of the fancy stuff. I just wanted to share this thought with you guys. I'm going to catch y'all up in the next one. Remember, generosity is always greater than greed. God bless each and every single one of y'all. And I'm out. Peace. Whoosh.